Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the channel. It is Friday, August 26, 2022, almost done with the month. And you guys know I like to quote out Ina Steiner's e-commerce bites for stories, and you read the title to this one, and it's true, it came up as a topic, and I believe this was originally from the eBay forum boards, but should buyers receive negative feedback for anything that they do, such as unpaid items? If they don't pay for an item and you're forced to cancel it and relist it, should they be able to receive a negative feedback? And not necessarily from us, from us, yes, but which we can already write a comment, but should they receive an actual negative feedback from the eBay system that shows that they did not pay for an item? Now, back in the day, it was originally 3 unpaid item strikes on your account and you were suspended. And I guess at some point it went by the wayside because eBay now reviews the accounts on a case-by-case basis, because there have been legitimate unpaid items where like somebody buys some items, is waiting for a combined invoice on shipping, the seller doesn't give it to them, and they never end up getting paid for the item, and the buyer cancels it, or the seller cancels it rather. Or sometimes if the seller cancels transactions because they're out of stock, but they say it's because the buyer asked for it, or all different types of scenarios. So eBay actually reviews those accounts on a case-by-case basis now. But the topic and the conversation that happened over there, which I'll link below, and I'll probably put some screenshots up during this video, was should eBay actually display a negative feedback that this person in the last 90 days has had 3 unpaid item cases or 9 unpaid item cases or whatever it is. And also, if the buyer has ever been proven, or a case where they returned the wrong item, or possibly where they didn't return the item in the same condition, or returned a brick or an empty envelope, or things of that nature. Of course, if they get proven for that, they should be suspended. But the topic came up of whether they should actually receive negative feedback displays. And I want to go down and read some of these conversations, these comments, and then I want to open it up. Do you guys think that eBay should bring that back to where the seller can actually leave the buyer a legitimate negative feedback, or that eBay should leave it as an internal, like something we can see under their, eBay feedback received as a buyer section? You know what I'm talking about. And then we'll be able to see that they haven't paid for cases. And so that if they make an offer, we are able to go and look and see like, hey, this person never pays for something. Would that curve the buyer behavior? Now, of course, immediate payments would absolutely take care of all of this, or most of it. And we're still waiting for that to roll out, so we'll have to wait and see how much longer that takes. But that would definitely fix it. But also, in addition, this negative feedback could be a help. Let's take a look at some of these comments. Let's thank the sponsor of today's video, My Reseller Genie, Paul and Faith. They have the best accounting and inventory control software that helps you track your sales, profits, expenses, and even your estimated tax bill, along with tracking your inventory, all from one place. And you can access it anywhere you have an internet connection. They have 2 great plans available, and make sure you check them out in the link in the description below and use the code to save 15%, Rockstarflipper 15. Okay, so here it is on e-commerce bites websites. It's letters to the editor, which is to Ina, and it's should eBay give negatives to non-paying buyers. So the story goes, Dear Ina, I've been an eBay member for over 20 years, an eBay seller for over 9 years. Buyers do not pay for various reasons, even though it is simple to have the transaction canceled. Buyers can look at a seller's feedback, but a buyer's feedback, if the buyer is not also selling, is 100%. Non-payers are a problem no matter what percentage of total sales they are. A seller loses a sale and income, and eBay loses their fees. Not all sellers set up their sales to have eBay cancel a transaction after non-payment. As a seller, you should always have the 4-day rolling. My suggestion is that eBay create a new feedback reporting system for buyers. If the transaction is canceled due to a non-payment, then the buyer's feedback shows a negative 5% and says due to non-payment with the date it occurred, and thus reducing the feedback. A buyer's non-payment should result in being blocked from eBay after 3 times within a 6-month period. It used to be if you got 3 non-payment strikes, you would be banned. I believe it used to be 3 in a year. If a buyer takes more than 5 days to pay, then the buyer's feedback shows a negative 2% and says due to late payment with the date it occurred, and thus reducing the feedback. The idea will give sellers the opportunity to look at a buyer's feedback and decide whether to accept a buyer's offer. And that's from Wayne. So Wayne has some comments. This guy says, when I started selling on eBay in 2000, there was a policy that if you did not pay for 3 items, you were kicked off the site. That's correct. That is what happened. I believe it was within a year. I could be wrong. A couple years later, he had a buyer not pay for it. When I checked his feedback, there were about 10 negatives for non-payment. When I spoke to the CS rep, customer service rep, about why this guy was still able to buy on eBay, I was advised that they review the count before they take action on the buyer. There were 2 or 3 positives before the avalanche of negatives hit the account. So in a very short span of time, eBay decided all buyers were the good guys and most sellers were the bad guys. Non-paying buyers are frustrating and a waste of time for sellers. I thought for a long time that buyers should be suspended for failure to pay for 2 items, perhaps for a year's time if lifetime ban seems too harsh. I can understand that emergencies arise or a person might realize they can't afford an item. As for giving negatives for certain behavior, in eBay's eyes, that would create an unpleasant experience on their site, which is what they're trying to avoid at all costs. There's a reason you can only leave positives for a buyer. That's correct. They don't want buyers to get negatives. It is not only eBay that doesn't allow negative feedback on buyers. And no, I don't think this is the answer to non-paying buyers. Sellers have the tools in which to curb this behavior if more sellers would just use the tools available to them. File the cancellation using the reason the buyer did not pay and put an unpaid item on their account. Set your buyer requirements to the strictest possible in regards to unpaid strikes, which is 2 in the past 12 months. If sellers worked together, made sure they did this, etc., etc. This guy says he has plenty of unpaid items because sellers do dumb stuff and don't send him invoices, which is weird. As sellers, we miss out on a few $100s a year from non-payers. eBay, on the other hand, is losing enough money on this to affect their quarterly reports, right? And so it goes on, and you guys can read this at your own leisure. I'll link it down below. But what do you think? Should buyers get a negative feedback? Should we be able to leave a comment about that more than just what we are? Should there be an internal system that drops their percentage? Tell me what you think. How should eBay handle these from the seller to the buyer side so that we can talk about these buyers or report them or flag them, other than the obvious, which is to require immediate payment on all transactions. Now, that will stop the scammers, because if they have to pay immediately and have their credit card on file and everything set up, then they're not just going to go all willy-nilly making offers that they know immediately are accepted. They're going to get dinged for. It'll put a stop to people putting offers in that they don't intend to pay for. It'll stop it immediately, and that's the ultimate answer. But should we be able to do feedbacks and different rating systems for buyers that do not pay for items or other things as well that we always talk about with the false INADs and all that sort of stuff? So what do you think? Put it in the comment section below. I'll read them and respond to as many as possible. And I may do a video about this as an update, especially when it gets closer to the immediate payment being fully rolled out. We'll have to wait and see how long that is. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Hit that like button. If you could turn the thumb blue below me, it really helps the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate it. And if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. I'd love to have you back for another video. And in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend, and I'll see everyone in the next video.